The host's strong desire to cultivate immortality was detected. Successfully bound to the opportunity detection system. Good morning, Ju Banchu. Ching Cheng. It's been 3 years since I came to the Tai Xu Holy Land. 3 years. You have not yet stepped into the threshold of the spirit guiding realm. The monthly exam is in 2 days. If you are still in last place, that would be, he wasn't even qualified to be a menial disciple. I can only. Will you? He was expelled from the servants' quarters. If you are still in last place, I can only. You've been expelled from the servants' quarters. Beyond the sacred land lies the 10,000 demon mountain. I am just an ordinary person without any cultivation. There's only one way out. Death. If only a sliver of opportunity could be obtained, even if it's me. Stepping into the realm of cultivation is also acceptable. The host's strong desire to cultivate immortality was detected. Successfully bound to the opportunity detection system. This system is called the opportunity detection system. It can detect opportunities existing around the host, natural treasures, secrets, inheritance of cave dwellings, etc., and will provide the host guidance for seizing opportunities. Very good. With this system, I'm still afraid I won't be able to cultivate. System, quickly investigate for me. Are there any opportunities nearby? Receive. Begin exploration. An opportunity was discovered. A 500-year-old spirit herb. Should guidance begin? That goes without saying. This spirit herb, but auxiliary cultivators. Spiritual infusion. The best herbs to begin cultivation. Perfect for me. Start the guidance now. Receive. Begin guiding the host. This is it. Could this be the spirit grass? With this spirit herb, it can definitely help me draw spirits into my body. Congratulations, host, on successfully summoning a spirit. Breakthrough of the 3 realms of spirit guiding. As expected of a 500-year-old spirit herb, not only did it allow me to successfully summon spirits, it also broke through the 3rd level of spirit induction. System. How long did my cultivation take this time? The host spent 2 days cultivating this time. 2 days. Isn't today the day of the monthly exam? You win this game. Li Xingsha. Congratulations, you have broken through the 2nd level of spirit induction. Among our group of disciples, your cultivation is the fastest. That's natural. I'm not like you idiots. You. What's with the arrogance? It's just that there is one uncle, the steward of the outer sect, really capable. Don't become a menial disciple. Who can argue with that? Xiao Qingcheng. Xiao Qingcheng. How? I was very surprised to see that. Who do I think it is? It turned out to be Xiao Qingcheng. You're so cute. Everyone assumed you knew you had no chance of passing the monthly exam. They've already left on their own. Li Xinghan is arrogant and domineering. I met him during the monthly exams 2 months ago. He didn't hold back at all. They also humiliated me in every way. Let's teach him a lesson today. Who ran? Not necessarily. Xiao Qingcheng, who doesn't know you're a spirit summoner. Cuteness that no one can achieve. Still talking big to me here. It seems the lesson I taught you before. That's not enough. All quiet. Xiao Qingcheng, now that you're back, it is appropriate to participate in the monthly test. It was the last game. The opponent is Li Xinghan. Yes. Xiao Qingcheng versus Li Xinghan. Xiao Qingcheng, wouldn't I get beaten up? Lying down for a few days. Xiao Qingcheng, you admit defeat now. It's not too late. Kneel down and kowtow to me. I'll go easy on you later. It will save you from breaking 2 bones. Enough with the nonsense. Make your move. The competition begins. You. Why don't you use some effort? You summoned a spirit. So what if you summon a spirit? I am a 2nd level spirit summoner. I only used about 50% of my strength just now. Now I'll show you the strength of the 2nd level of spirit summoning. You've reached the 3rd level of spirit summoning. Xiao Qingcheng actually broke through too. Influence triple. A few days ago. Isn't he still just an idiot who can't summon spirits? How did it suddenly become a triple spirit summoning technique? Could it be? He was hiding his strength. Win this game. Xiao Qingcheng. 2 days apart. You've made great progress according to regulations. Top scorer in the monthly exam. Reward. 1 spirit gathering pill. Thank you, class monitor. Xiao Qingcheng. You just wait. Spirit gathering pill. This can help cultivators. Good stuff for absorbing spiritual energy. Thanks to the system. No more worries. They were expelled from the Holy Land. I also received this spirit gathering pill just in time to try it. Let's see if we can break through. Uncle, you must stand up for me. Xiao Qingcheng. I don't know what kind of incredible luck he had. Suddenly he possessed the cultivation level of the 3rd level of spirit guidance in the monthly exam. Not only that, it humiliated me. It also made me lose face. Fool. With my guidance in cultivation. If you haven't fought, then forget it. How dare you come here to cry and complain? This is truly a disgrace to me as a butler. Tomorrow, it will be you menial disciples. A routine day of going to the spirit mine to mine. That's right, Uncle. You mean. The mine has a complex terrain, hidden monsters. An unexpected incident occurred. It's perfectly normal. You take this explosive flame talisman. After activation, dealing with a spirit summoning triple. More than enough. Remember, seize the opportunity. Make it clean. Thank you, Uncle. Rest assured, I will definitely make Xiao Qingcheng no return. Listen carefully. As usual, after entering the spirit mine, find and mine the mineral veins yourself. Return 1 day later. The mine has complex terrain. Do not venture into unmarked areas. Do you understand? Work. The spirit gathering pill was indeed effective. Cultivating for 1 night, combined with the residual spiritual herbal power within the body, it actually allowed me to directly reach the 4th level of spirit induction. I don't know what's inside this cave. Is there any chance I'll have the system investigate for me later? There aren't many people here. System. Host. I am. Help me investigate. Are there any opportunities nearby? Okay. Let's begin the exploration. An opportunity has been discovered. 1 set of remains. Marked. Are you here? The system said this opportunity lies here. But how am I supposed to get down?
Li Xinshan.
He should have died if he fell from that height. Xiao Qingcheng. Walk well.
Li Xinshan.
That exploding flame talisman. If I hadn't broken through to the 4th level of the spirit induction realm, that 1 talisman alone could kill me. Host detected. We have reached the vicinity of the opportunity. Don't panic. The mine tunnels here are complex. By myself alone, it's hard to get out. Since it was a coincidence, when the opportunity came, why not take a look? Perhaps that will be helpful. Is this it? Please forgive me, Senior. The younger generation has fallen on hard times. If there is any disturbance, please forgive me, Senior. So this Senior, they also unfortunately ended up in this place. Find a way out. However, due to severe injuries, he was unable to leave. This actually helped me a lot. The elders are virtuous. I would also appreciate your guidance and support. Refined this spiritual bone. Not only my injuries, full recovery, the speed of absorbing spiritual energy, they all sped up. His cultivation level also increased to the 6th level of the spirit induction realm. It's time to go out.
Li Xinshan.
I've come to settle accounts with you. You really didn't see Xiao Qingcheng? I've never seen it before. Zhu Banqiu. The meeting time had long passed. The mine tunnels are complex. Another demon is lurking. Xiao Qingcheng might. They've already been completely devoured by the monster. What are you waiting for? Go back quickly. You wait here. I submitted it. After this assignment was recorded, I'll take you away. Another accident report to write. Li Xinghan, you seem to be in a good mood. Li Xinghan, you seem to be in a good mood. Xiao Qingcheng, how could you still be alive?
我命大没死成. Li Xinshan.
Inside the mine, the matter of using talismans to secretly kill me. How do you think this debt should be settled? Li Xinghan actually dared to secretly kill someone. This is a grave taboo in sacred grounds. The Holy Land strictly forbids disciples from engaging in private duels. Li Xinghan has gone mad. That's right. The Tai Xu Holy Land strictly forbids disciples from engaging in private duels. Xiao Qingcheng, do you want to break the rules? Rules of the sect. When you ambushed me. Do you remember there was such a thing as rules and regulations? Stop. Shao Qing Cheng. The sect strictly prohibits private fights that could injure or cripple fellow disciples. My cultivation is ruined. This speed attracts 6 levels of spiritual energy. How is that possible? Zhu Banqiu. Li Xinghan was in the wrong first. Violation of rules. I acted in self-defense. Slightly excessive. Please, Judge Zhu, deliver your verdict. I will report this matter truthfully to the sect. Shao Qingcheng returned to the hospital to reflect on his actions, waiting for the sect's judgment to be issued. There is a settled conclusion.
至于李星涵,
A few people come. They carried him to the clinic. I was unaware of this matter. How will the sect make a judgment? Qingcheng. This is the inner sect enforcement elder.
Elder Muxuanzhen.
According to the Holy Land's mandate, to announce the verdict in your private fight case. This disciple greets Elder Xuanzhen. Shao Qingcheng. Your private fight that resulted in injury. No way to defend myself, but Li Xinghan launched a sneak attack first. I also appreciate your diligence in cultivation, sincere attitude in admitting mistakes. Holy Land wishes to give you an opportunity to make amends. Please enlighten me, Elder. The Spirit Beast Academy under the Holy Land. A few days ago, it was attacked by a monster. The disciple in charge of raising the animals died. You will be the substitute for a while. Obey the holy command. Let's set off tomorrow. This result is acceptable. However, the Spirit Beast Academy located in the 10,000 Demon Mountain. It's not safe. This passed. It's always better to have the highest level of personal strength. There is still some time before departure. We cannot waste. System. Host. I am. Help me find an opportunity. Begin to explore opportunities for the host. Discovered the magic manual Shrinking Earth to an Inch. Start guide. The opportunity has been identified. Just 3 feet under the tree. Here. No, 没有啊. Is there something? Shrinking the Earth into an Inch. System. What is the use of this spell? Shrinking the Earth to an Inch is a secret technique of movement. After practicing, one can achieve this in the blink of an eye, crossing extremely long distances. With the host's current cultivation level, cultivate to the extreme. Cultivators below the Zhuandan level. No one can catch up. This is a lifesaver. If you can learn. I feel more at ease going into the mountains. Unfortunately, we have to leave soon. There isn't enough time for cultivation. The host has nothing to worry about. This system has cultivation assistance functions. It can accelerate the host's cultivation. It can also assist in cultivation, multifaceted development. But an excellent system. Required courses. Does the host need to enable it? Accessibility. Enable. Assisted cultivation system. Shrinking the Earth into an Inch. Receive. That's how you learn it. Try it out. Shrinking the Earth into an Inch. Open. Such a fast speed. Even now, if a monster really attacks, with this shrinking of the Earth to an Inch, survival is not a problem. These little guys are quite affectionate. Arrive at this Spirit Beast Academy. It may not necessarily be a bad thing. Fortunately, no one is bothering us. Just in time for cultivation. Fighting sounds. I need to go and see.
Mu Zhenzhen.
Mu Xuanzhen killed my demon wind sect elder. Wang Kuei. Today, they'll use your granddaughter to pay off the debt. Your demon wind sect, such evil and heretical doctrines. Everyone should kill him. They're quite stubborn, though. Give me a go. Try to catch them alive. I have quite a few ways to play. Try it slowly. Where did this spirit summoning scum come from? Your attire suggests you're a disciple of my holy land. The people on the other side are from the demonic sect. Each one started at the spirit platform realm. This is not something you, a spirit summoner, can interfere with. Their target is me. You should hurry up and leave. Want to run away in a dream. Wait a minute. Why is there any last words to say? Elder Mu, you finally arrived. Shrinking the Earth into an Inch. What? Dare to play me? Team leader, what should we do? Idiot. Do you even need to ask? They definitely haven't gone far. Hurry up and activate the mountain lock formation. Once the mountain locking formation is activated, don't even think about running away. Oh my god, snatching people from Ling Tai. Stimulate. Thank you for saving me, junior brother. I didn't expect you to be only at the spirit induction cultivation level. The speed was even faster than the peak of the spiritual platform. Still fast. I haven't asked your name yet. Xiao Qingcheng, a servant disciple. I've met Senior Sister Mu. Do you know me? Senior Sister is Elder Xuanzhen's granddaughter. Inside the door again, the youngest peak of the spiritual platform. It is natural to recognize. Junior brother Xiao saved my life. You're welcome. This time ambushed. The most urgent task is to return to the sect and seek help. Don't worry, Senior Sister. I'll take you back right now. This is the Lock Mountain Formation. Once this formation is activated, within the formation, no one can enter or leave at will. We probably won't be able to leave this time. Isn't there any way? With our cultivation levels, no. Perhaps I still have a fighting chance. System. I am here. Aren't you developing in multiple directions? I'm having a problem. Do you have any ideas? There's a way we might try. Tell me about it. The system detected. Not far from here. There is a dragon pool. The host might want to give it a try. Drive away the tiger to devour the wolf. You mean? Let me use this dragon to deal with Wang Kuei and his group. Aren't you afraid I'll get eaten first? Host. With your ability to shrink the earth to an inch, even a dragon couldn't catch you. And as long as we can find a way, lead Wang Kuei and his group to the dragon. Then when they escaped, if only I could run faster than Wang Kuei and the others. So you're moving to the front row where the slower ones are? Doing nothing is just waiting to die. It's better to take a gamble. Good luck. Maybe I can even be the one to catch the bird in the dark. Senior Sister Mu, I have a solution. Perhaps this can get us both out of trouble. But some dangers. Do you believe me? Junior brother Xiao saved my life. I naturally believe you. What do you want to do? I will fully cooperate with you. Okay. Then let's do it this way. Then do this. Encountering a dragon. Where did the person hide? Oh, you're looking for us. Great. They've come to us of their own accord. Junior brother Xiao, do you really want to do this? Didn't we agree on this? Okay. Come here. Caught death. Senior Sister Mu left. Walk. Shrinking the earth into an inch. All they do is run away. Something like a mouse. Go chase me. Why isn't it running anymore? Aren't you guys supposed to be good runners? Keep running. Senior Sister Mu took action. What's wrong with you now? You're right. We really should keep running. Goodbye. A miraculous escape. Good fortune is sure to follow. After eating this dragon's inner core, not only can it heal injuries, perhaps we can go even further. Mu Zhenzhen and that bastard. You just wait. One day, I will stab you all. You don't have that chance anymore. System. This is what you called the dragon's inner core. That's right. This inner core, but it's a truly good product. How about it? I told you there was a chance to be the mantis stalking the cicada. The system is great. Host, you're just giving me the runaround. Okay, thanks to you. You should go back quickly. Senior Sister Mu is still waiting for me. Finally back. Thank you, junior brother. If it weren't for your help this time, I'm afraid the odds are against me. Senior Sister Mu, you're so polite. You're being modest. I really don't know how to thank you. I heard you went to the Spirit Beast Academy this time. It was because of the private feud with Li Xinghan. Right, that's right. Now that my senior sister has safely returned to the Holy Land, then I'll head back to the Spirit Beast Academy first. No need. You can focus on your cultivation in the Holy Land. I'll ask Grandpa to help you resolve this. Thank you very much, Senior Sister Mu. Just call me Zhenzhen. Okay, Senior Sister. Zhenzhen. You can also call me Qingcheng. I'll be going now. See you later. Finally, there was an opportunity. Going to refine the newly obtained dragon's inner core. Uncle. Xiao Qingcheng actually came back. You said you would avenge me. I'm back. He shouldn't be at the Spirit Beast Academy right now. Have you redeemed it? So be it. It's the perfect opportunity. I will go and meet him in person tomorrow. Refined the dragon's inner core. You actually let me have a turn. Breakthrough to the 8th level of spirit guiding. This physical body has been strengthened considerably. A day has passed. I wonder how Zhenzhen is doing. Xiao Qingcheng, get out. Xiao Qingcheng, you've finally come out. This is Li Xinghan's uncle, the steward. They're up to no good. I wonder what brings Steward Li here. If it's about a private fight, the holy site has already made a decision on this matter. The disciple has nothing to say. Xiao Qingcheng, stop talking nonsense. My uncle is here today. You're dead. My uncle is here today. You're dead. Hey you idiot. If you weren't my nephew, I wouldn't even glance at you. Xiao Qingcheng. Of course I know that the Holy Land has already made its decision. Therefore you should at this time redeemed at the Spirit Beast Institute. But you secretly returned to the holy site. The holy site is placed as nothing. It is clear that he has no remorse whatsoever. Today I will act on behalf of the sect. Further discipline. Such powerful spiritual energy. If it wasn't the dragon's inner core, my physical body has been strengthened. Just this one palm strike. I'm about to be seriously injured. Still dare to block. Stop. What brings you here? Junior nephew Mo, as an outer sect steward, making things difficult for a menial disciple. Is it appropriate? Master Mo, you are unaware of something. This boy is ruthless. Seriously injured fellow disciple. Holy Land's mercy. Give him a chance to redeem himself. He ignored the arrangements of the holy site. Ungrateful. I'm only now acting as a substitute for the sect's discipline. Deacon Li was so dedicated and responsible. I am so pleased. Grandfather. Disciple Xiao Qingcheng.
Greetings, Elder Mu.
Elder Xuanzhen. What brings you here, sir? How? This servant's quarters. I cannot come. I dare not. I dare not. This old man has come here. This is about Xiao Qingcheng saving my granddaughter. In addition, don't let him stay in the Spirit Beast Academy. I agree to it. What are your opinions? Xiao Qingcheng, that guy. They actually saved Elder Xuanzhen's granddaughter. Now they have Elder Xuanzhen's protection. It's hard to make a move. No. I just didn't know the situation. Taking action rashly. It was really my fault. I have something to ask you. You said, I will answer everything I know. On the day, Li Xinghan in the mine, attack Xiao Qingcheng. Where did the explosive flame talisman come from? Elder, those low-level talismans. Perhaps it was something Xinghan encountered by chance. Li Bo, are you still hiding something? Do you think I can't find out? Elders and disciples dare not. I dare not. You privately taught the talisman, instigating his nephew to harm his fellow disciple. Using power. In reality, it is a form of coercion and retaliation. As a butler. Extremely vicious. What else are you afraid of? The Vinaya Hall has now made a decision. Li Bo was removed from his position as deacon. Abolish cultivation. Immediately expelled from the sacred land of Tai Xu.
Li Xinshan.
And expel the 100,000 demons from the mountain. Elder, have mercy. Elder, have mercy. The disciple knows his mistake. Elder, the disciple knows his mistake. Xiao Qingcheng, I really know I was wrong. You are very generous. You know you were wrong. You know you're going to die. Visitor. Take them down. Walk. Xiao Qingcheng. The disciple is. Thank you, Elder Mu, for upholding justice. No need. This matter was handled by Li Bo and his team. Going too far. That being said, if it weren't for you, my granddaughter fell victim to the evil cult. As a disciple of the Holy Land, seeing the demonic cult, of course, we cannot stand idly by.
Call me.
You take this mountain-moving seal. Qingcheng, take it quickly. This magical artifact, it was used by my grandfather. If used properly, it can unleash the power of the spirit platform realm. Elder, isn't this a bit too expensive? Stop talking nonsense. Just take it when I tell you to. The disciple thanks the elder. Let's skip the formalities. I have something to ask you. Elder, please speak. I observe your breath. It has already broken through to the lesser spirit guiding stage. Yes, I gained some insights from fighting the demons. A lucky breakthrough. Be neither arrogant nor impatient. Diligent practice. Both their temperament and aptitude are quite good. Since you have already broken through to 8-fold spirit guiding, the minimum standard for external assessment has also been met. Why not give it a try? Yes, Qingcheng, with your cultivation speed, I will definitely have to participate in the external assessment next year. Why not get familiar with it first? Assessment process. External assessment. If it can be passed, then one can be promoted to outer disciple. Not only do I not have to do chores, various benefits. It's much better than being a menial disciple. It's worth a try. Thank you for your guidance, Elder. The disciple is willing to give it a try. Good. There is still more than half a month until the outer sect assessment. Make sure you remember the date and don't miss it. Mua and I went back first. Go Qingcheng. If you pass the assessment, you'll get a reward. Let's go. Want to take the test? This current strength is not enough. At this time, we should. System. At this time, we should. System. Help me find some opportunities nearby. Good master. Begin to explore opportunities. Searching for a hidden cave. Start guide. System. You didn't go to the wrong place. It's definitely here. Do you understand the cave? Just the right time to try the mountain moving seal. Moving mountain seal. Oh. This mountain moving seal is incredibly powerful. Is that all right now? It's been so long since anyone has come to this cave. Iron sword. Is this what they call a stroke of luck? Isn't that a bit shabby? Host, don't be in such a hurry. Let's draw the sword first. Is there some hidden secret about this sword? So that's where the big head is. This is a high-grade spirit stone. I used to mine in the spirit mine. I've hardly seen any high-grade spirit stones. These few high-grade spirit stones let my cultivation speed. It can increase by more than double. However, this hidden sword technique, how should it be used? Hidden sword technique is a special skill. Emphasis on specializing in one sword. If you don't move, then don't move. Amazing. The longer the sword is hidden, the greater the power when the sword is drawn. With the host's current cultivation level hidden to the limit, it can even sever the spirit platform with a single sword strike. Sword severing the spirit platform. So strong. If I could digest both of these things. What are the chances of passing the assessment? It should be quite a bit bigger. Never mind. I need to focus on my cultivation. Hey, Ching Cheng here. Zhen. What are you doing here? Of course I'm here to help you. Go for it. Those who participated in the assessment, they are all senior disciples, so don't be careless. I see.
Xiao Qingkeng versus Zhang Gai.
My turn. Remember to handle this carefully. Something's not right. Just admit defeat. Come on. Who is Xiao Qingcheng? Who is this person? He is Xiao Qingcheng. Xiao Qingcheng. That name sounds unfamiliar. I do have some recollection of it. He seems to be a newly recruited handyman disciple. How do the newcomers interact with these? Competition among veteran disciples who have cultivated for several years. I'm afraid they're just here to go through the motions to broaden one's horizons. New here. It's not too late to admit defeat now, lest we get punched and kicked without warning. Senior brother, please enlighten me. Ungrateful. Ungrateful. Trick. Brother John Ari, but the ninefold spirit guiding technique, he couldn't even withstand a single move. Victor Xiao Qingcheng. Qingcheng, your cultivation has improved again. Just broke through the 10th level of spirit induction. Tenfold spirit guiding. I didn't expect you to cultivate so quickly. This will make it much faster for you to pass the test. But only one person. Only one person. Be careful. Who is it? That's Lin Di. I heard he has already reached the peak of the hidden spirit realm. Liangling Tai realm. None of them were his match. So amazing. That's right. But as long as you don't run into him, making it into the top 10 is not a problem. You can then make it into the top 10. We still don't know who the next opponent will be. The next match will be between Xiao Qingcheng and Lin Di. Why Lin Di of all people? It doesn't matter. Since we've run into each other, it's worth a try. Be very careful. Don't be reckless. What a pity. Xiao Qingcheng, although he was new, but their strength is considerable. But he just happened to run into Lin Di, stopped in the top 10. What a pity. Just a little bit short. You can then enter through the outer gate. Senior brother Lin's defense is unparalleled. Even standing. Give Xiao Qingcheng a beating. I'm afraid they can't even scratch it. You're great. The newcomer has such strength. Rare. Brother Lin, you flatter me. But that's all. Step down yourself so that others won't say I'm bullying you. Having already taken the stage, I must learn from them. Senior brother Lin's brilliant move. Please, senior brother, show mercy. Good, then I'll give you 3 moves. Sanzhou Chunei. If you can break through my defenses, I'll admit defeat. If not, he then went down by himself. Then I'll make my move. Ling Tai triple. Ling Tai triple. Unexpected. Lin Di has actually entered the spirit platform. Ling Tai triple. There's no need to fight anymore, right? First move. Wow, it's so hard. Since that's the case, then try this. Brother Lin, get ready for this. a good magic weapon. It's a pity your cultivation is still shallow, unable to unleash its full power. Second move, with my spiritual cultivation, activate the mountain moving seal to defeat the spirit platform realm. It was still a bit of a stretch. It seems like only one last trick is left. Brother Lin, the next sword. It will be very strong. Connected. Despite letting go and doing.
Hidden sword technique.
Draw sword. Draw sword. Excellent swordsmanship. I lost.
Brother Lin D.
Defeated. The sword broke. Lin Dai's defense. Ching Cheng. Brother Lin, you have yielded. Otherwise, I also had no chance. Pull out this sword. Defeat is defeat. Your sword. It already poses a threat to the mid-stage of the spirit platform realm. I didn't lose unjustly. This competition, no one can stop you now. External assessment. Final winner. First place. Xiao Ching Cheng. Promotion to outer disciple. Ching Cheng, congratulations. How about it? Am I awesome? You're amazing. The reward I promised. I'll give it to you later. Ching Cheng. From now on, here, that's your residence outside the gate. How about it? Compared to your time in the servants' quarters, much better, right? Good. I also have to thank Shenzhen. Come with me to choose. Nothing. However, there's something. When it's just the two of us. Only then can it be done. What are you going to do? Hey, don't move. Relax. I promise to reward you. Oh, be gentle. How about it? My massage technique. Not bad, right? It was just a massage. Huh? I thought. What else did you think it was? Nothing. All right. I'm going back to rest. I send you. No need to send it. You've already fought several matches today. You should get some rest. I'm leaving. Securing first place in this external assessment, not only people from the outer gate, he was also rewarded with a spirit crystal. The spiritual energy contained in the spirit crystal, far exceeding spirit stones. I don't know if it's possible. Help me break through to the spirit platform realm. Breakthrough in Lingtai realm. Congratulations, host, on breaking through to the spirit platform realm. Added passive exploration function. It can automatically sense nearby opportunities. Passive exploration. That's right. Exploring opportunities later. No need for the host to actively perform. The system will automatically detect. Report nearby opportunities. The host only needs to decide. You can go and collect it. Very good. No more worries. Missed the opportunity. Currently detected. 宿主屋内存在. Fortuitous alchemy. Does it guide? I have alchemy techniques in this room. Where? Alchemy. There's even something hidden in my room. Such a good thing. System. Activate auxiliary cultivation. Okay. With the system assisting in cultivation. This alchemy book. I already know it. Elixirs at or below the profound core realm. All can be refined. That's right. Moreover, cultivation resources. There are 4 kinds: wealth, companions, dharma, and land. Finance in. With alchemy wood, the host can not only refine pills, improve your own strength, excess pills. You can also sell it. Cultivation of the host. It's very beneficial. System. Well done. However, I only have the skills. How can this be done without the materials? Even a skilled cook can't cook without rice. System. Can you help me detect? Where is the elixir? Elixir is also a kind of opportunity. Sure. Good. Let's set off now. Moonflower. Earth spirit root. Golden wing leather. Host. This way, this way. There are also a few blood ginseng plants here. Blood ginseng. The main ingredient for refining qi and blood pills. Now. Alchemy herbs. Everything is almost ready. System. Walk. Go home. Zhenzhen. Why are you here? How? Can't I come to see you if there's nothing wrong? Why did it take you so long to get back? Where did you go? I've learned alchemy. Go out and gather some herbs to try. Returning empty-handed. Didn't they find the medicinal herb? So much. Where was it collected? It's quite easy to find. If it's really easy to find, everyone went to look for it. It's not your turn yet. Maybe I'm just lucky. Alright, step back a little. I'll try refining a pill. This is harder than I imagined. Only 3 were formed. First time refining pills. It can form 3. It's already pretty good. But how to refine pills with bare hands? What about the elixir cauldron? Danding. I don't have money to buy it. Zhenzhen. What do you think of this pill? How is the quality? This qi gathering pill.
Pure.
Very few impurities. I can't believe it. This is actually made by hand. That is, the elder of the intersex medicine hall. None of them are of this standard. That's true. What do you think of this elixir? How much is it worth? Ordinary spirit gathering pill. However, 1 low-grade spirit stone is worth 1 grain. If you have this kind of quality, at least 3 low-grade spirit stones. 3. Refining this thing. However, it only consumed a little of my spiritual power. It can actually sell for 3 spirit stones. If other pills are refined, this means we are about to strike it rich. Zhenzhen, please sit down for a while. I'll try refining a few more pills. Hey, don't rush. This Qingguang Ding, it was given to me by my grandfather. Not only can it improve the quality of the elixir, it can also increase the success rate of alchemy. This is for you. This isn't appropriate, is it? What's wrong with that? Sell the pills then. You have to give me a share. Good. Then I won't be polite. Bye-bye. Why is no one coming? Something really happened. He was also called back to the inner sect. I am bored. How much does this qi gathering pill cost? Qi gathering pill. 3 low-grade spirit stones. 3. Do you think I'm a sucker? Qi gathering pill. However, the pills of the spirit guiding realm. 撑死了也就一枚 low-grade spirit stones. You actually. He demanded 3. Are you crazy about spirit stones? He's just a swindler. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Dust. Boss, don't worry. I'll tell you. My qi gathering pill is different. It's just a qi gathering pill. What could be different? Let me tell you 100 stories. Why don't you try it yourself?
Come.
Take this qi gathering pill, free of charge. Free of charge. Everyone's watching. Would I possibly cheat you? All right. I broke through. Such pure medicinal power. The effect of this qi gathering pill. It's almost as good as the spirit gathering pill. Only 3 low-grade spirit stones. That's totally worth it. Is it really that good? Elixir. You can tell if it's real or fake just by eating it. What good would it do me to lie to you? I'll take all these qi gathering pills. Brother, lie. This is a spirit stone. Here's your medicine. Keep it safe. Brothers, take a walk. Take a look. Besides the qi gathering pill and nailing pill, yangshan pill, qi and blood pill, various elixirs, limited quantity. Every single one is a masterpiece. Pre-order now. Give me a dose of qi and blood pills. Come again next time. Only for a short while. I only earned this many spirit stones. Alchemy is indeed extremely profitable. Sorry, everyone. These pills are sold out today. You little brat. Don't know the rules. I don't know what the rules are. Kid. Selling medicine outside the gate, but they all have to go through our Ludan Association's registration. They also have to hand over 40% of the profits. Do you understand? I don't know. There are such rules for the outer sect. You'll know later. Kid. Give you a chance. Remember this next time. Let's go. It's the Ludan gathering again. Relying on Han Mulan's support, the new alchemist. They'll skin you alive. Well, Han Mulan is clearly an elder of alchemy, but they still plunder disciples' resources to provide for one's own cultivation. What a heartless person. Was it actually done by an elder? This is troublesome. E-boy. 想明白没有啊? It's you again. You too. Help me think of something for him. No problem. Our 2 spirits. Disciplining a newcomer. That's still easy to handle. Kid, be smart. Nobody comes to this remote place. Lingtai triple. Aren't you a newcomer to the outer sect? How can there be 3 levels of the spirit platform? I refined so many pills. Of course, it's through taking medicine that you level up. I broke through long ago. It's at the 3rd level of the Lingtai spirit platform. Okay, you wait. I will definitely come back. Sure enough, only strength matters. What is there to worry about, elders or not? Host, an opportunity was detected. 3 soul flower. Do you need guidance? 3 soul flower. What is this thing? The 3 souls flower is a spiritual treasure of heaven and earth. If blood is mixed in, its nectar was later ingested by humans. It can control the souls of others. Make him obey you. Reluctant to part. 好强力的功能. System. Lead the way. Alright. Host. This way. System. This is it. That's right. This is the 3 soul flower. The host should be careful when picking. It's useless if it's even slightly damaged. It has been picked. However, the soul of the envoy. Where can this feature be used? Never mind. Go to sleep first. A whole day of trouble. I'm so sleepy. It feels so good to wake up. Elderham. That's him. I encountered bad luck first thing in the morning. Disciple Xiao Qingcheng. Greetings to Elderham. Xiao Qingcheng. I've seen the pills you refined. Evenly distributed red veins. The medicinal effects are subtle. The quality is indeed excellent. I'll be frank. I want you. Elderham. What did you say? Your alchemy is quite good. You can earn a lot of spirit stones. I need a lot of spirit stones to cultivate. Add people to the flow of Dan Club. Only 40% profit. I'll handle the raw materials and sales for you. All you need to do is refine pills. A win-win situation. How? Asking for 40% of the profits right off the bat. Win-win my foot. Elderham. If the disciple is unwilling, it seems I can't refuse. In that case, don't blame me for being impolite. To receive Elder Hand's favor, your disciple is extremely honored. Only the disciple's opinion on the matter of cooperation. There are still some problems. Why not go inside? 仔细聊聊. Let's talk in detail. Elder Han, please have a seat. Elderham. Come. Take a sip of tea to soothe your throat. Drink up. Drink this mixed tea made from 3 soul flowers. Let's drink it later. Let's talk about the cooperation first. Good. I think this proportion of profit sharing. There is still room for discussion. Owner. Why are you laughing?
主人你没事吧?
What did you call me? Master. Is something wrong? Good boy. This is what you call the master. These 3 soul-controlling flowers. That's terrifying. Elderham. Have you reached an agreement? Come. I have something to tell you. Elderham. Later Lord. No. Xiao Qingcheng. They are members of our Ludan society. Really? Xiao Qingcheng simply couldn't withstand it. Elder Han's pressure. Once you understand the basics, things will be much easier. After, there are plenty of opportunities. Find trouble with him. Xiao Qingcheng. People flowed cinnabar. There are some rules you have to listen to. Some things. I remember it perfectly clearly. Do you understand? This person must be out of their mind. Elderham. Who gave you permission to talk to him like that? From now on, seeing him will be like seeing me. Did you understand? Did you understand? I understand. Brother Xiao. From now on, you can say east. I will never go west. Please feel free to give me any instructions. Not bad. Get lost. Why? Owner. Is there anything else you need? Not available at the moment. You should go back first. The master. Call me anytime if you need anything. Host. Is it all done? Organic matter was detected in nearby waters. Dragon bloodfish. Dragon bloodfish are an accidental atavism. Silk dragon clan bloodline. Precious mythical beasts. Its blood can be refined into dragon blood. It has the effect of cleansing tendons and marrow. The host needs to collect. Is this opportunity? Opportunity to become stronger. Of course, the more the better. System routing. Okay. This way, host. System. I've been sitting here for 2 hours now. This dragon bloodfish, why aren't they taking the bait yet? Perhaps the host can give it a try. Use something imbued with spiritual power as bait. Bait the hole and lure it in. I'll give it a try. The spirit gathering pills refined earlier. However, it was a return of interest. Just right to use as bait. Will this work? They took the bait. Keep it up, host. The host is amazing. Congratulations, host. 1 dragon blood fish caught. System. Walk. Go home and eat fish. The taste of dragon bloodfish. It's really good. Is this the power of dragon blood?
没想到
Dragon blood is actually with mine. The inner core of the dragon resonated. It suddenly made me break through.
Ling Tai Yay.
Now I feel like full of power. Now relying solely on physical strength. I already have the level of the 8th level of the spirit platform. This dragon bloodfish. It's really a good thing. Good. Keep practicing. Not a single bit can be wasted.
Han Mulan.
What are you doing here? Of course, they're here to serve their master. Who can withstand this? Let me help you change. Oh no. Wait a moment. Ching Cheng. What are you doing? Zhen. Listen to me. I am helping my master change clothes. What's wrong with that? Owner. When? She became her master. You too. When did you meet? It's a long story. Master's affairs. Why should I explain to you?
Han Mulan.
You are an outer sect elder. Do this. Don't you think it's beneath your dignity? Serve the master. It is my duty. You. Say it again. 2. Calm. Calm down. No. This place is not safe to stay. Staying any longer will result in someone dying. Xiao Qingcheng, don't run away. Master, where are you going? I was so scared. It's better to cultivate. System, let's have a chance to calm our nerves. No problem. Nearby detected. There is a chance to learn a cultivation technique named Muzu Warrior. Do you want to go and get it? Kung Fu. System. Let me explain in detail. The Formless Warrior is a style. Special techniques. Can use one's own spiritual power. Condensed into a puppet. The puppet has a certain autonomous action capability, and it can perform tasks away from the host. Cultivating to the highest level. Simultaneous control. Multiple strongman puppets. That sounds interesting. Walk. Go take a look. Receive. Start guide. Unseen child. Is this your first time here? Yes. Disciple pays respects to elder. I'll just repeat the rules once. Remember it. The cultivation methods in the scripture pavilion. Browse and choose freely. Choose what you want to take out. A deposit is required. Borrow money 1 day at a time. Got it. The disciple understands. Okay, go ahead. Host. This way, this way. Tsangti Ju. Isn't he the Muzu warrior? System. Is there a mistake? Host. This is just a cover. The true formless warrior hidden in the interlayer. Okay. Then I'll read this one first. Take the as your body technique out. This senior brother. What do you mean by this? It's meaningless. This Tsunti technique, I've also taken a liking to it. There has to be a first come, first served order, right? Kid, you actually didn't know. Brother Zhongyu, new here. Huh? Our senior brother Zhongyu, but a master of the 8th level of the spirit platform. One of the top outer disciples. What first come, first served? Do you understand the principle of might makes right? That is, be sensible. Hand over the book. Did you hear me? Some things, it's not that you get it first. The strong come first. Okay. How about this? Let's have a little demonstration. Who won? Whoever owns this book. A disciple who had just entered the outer sect. They all dare to challenge me. Act recklessly. Then I'll play a game with you. I'd like to see that. You, a master of the 8th level of the spiritual platform. How much does it weigh exactly? Let's go. Martial arts arena. Take a look. Newcomer Xiao Qingcheng vs. Veteran Ye Chou Yu. Hurry up and place your bet. Place your order and leave. Xiao Qingcheng's odds are as high as 1 to 8. Come and place your bets. 100 low-grade spirit stones. I bet on Zhongyu. And me. I'm betting 2 mid-grade spirit stones. Medium-grade spirit stone. It's worth 100 low-grade spirit stones. You've really gone all out. That's Xiao something. A newcomer. Facing Zhongyu. It's certain that they will lose. Only a fool wouldn't bet on Zhongyu. Bet everything on him. All bets on Xiao Qingcheng. This junior brother. Have you thought this through? Senior brother Zhongyu is at the 8th level of the spirit platform realm. They're really stupid and rich. Xiao Qingcheng. A newcomer. How could we possibly win? Junior brother Xiao. It seems nobody thinks you can win. Why don't you just surrender? And you can suffer less. Host. The cultivation of the formless warrior has been completed. I got the cultivation technique. Do we still need to fight? Of course we should fight. Although the cultivation technique was obtained, but the opportunity to make money.
也不能浪费啊.
I just used the puppet. He bet everything on himself. Now all we need to do is defeat Zhongyu. A large sum of spirit stones came into his account. Xiao Qingcheng. How dare you ignore me?
我决定了.
I'm going to beat you up. Unable to get out of bed for 3 months. You can try it. Really? Body enhanced by blood. He already possessed the strength of the 8th level of the spirit platform, in addition to various magical treasures and cultivation techniques. This battle.
我能赢.
The strength of the 5th level of the spirit platform. The physical body is not bad. It seems you have some skills. Since that's the case, behold my 100 waves fist. This is Zhongyu's signature boxing style. 100 waves fist. Punch down, penetrating 100 layers. Like waves crashing. Continuous. Xiao Qingcheng would definitely not be able to stop it. Moving mountain seal. Go. What can be done with the help of magic weapons? Again.
Heurtlifien transformation technique.
This skill can be used in a short time. It allows people to unleash twice their strength. Senior brother Zhong is getting serious now. The 8th level of the Lin Tai spirit platform versus the 5th level.
再加上的煞退身功.
Xiao Qingcheng. They're about to lose. Wuxiang warrior. Now. What's this? Why are there 2? It's time for a group fight. My spirit stones. Xiao Qingcheng won. It increased 8-fold in one go. So many spirit stones used for cultivation. I don't know how long can it be used. Make a fortune. Thanks to these 1 spirit stones. That's why I've been all the way. He cultivated to the 10th level of the spirit platform. Sure enough, this financial strength, that is what drives cultivation. The primary driving force. Holy Land calling bell. The bell rang. All disciples must head to the square to meet. What happened? Master, you've arrived. Let you run. Zhenzhen. Mulan, what's going on? Why is the summons bell ringing? This time the Holy Land summoned disciples. Because of the Holy Land, a secret realm has been discovered, named Guishu Tomb. He was a powerful expert at the Divine Palace realm. Place of death. Yes. In. Not only does it have the inheritance of cultivation techniques, elixir of life, there is also the inheritance of the Divine Palace. Divine Palace Tomb. Not a legacy. Just counting the various treasures inside. They are all amazing. No wonder the Holy Land. Why are you in such a hurry to gather manpower? However, this secret realm, not only holy sites were discovered, there are also rival sects of the Holy Land. The Demon Wind sect also discovered it. 2 matches. A struggle for opportunity is inevitable. However, cultivators above the Zhuangdan level,
被禁制所限.
unable to enter the secret realm. So, in order to seize more opportunities, the sacred land summons the spirit platform and the elixir. Disciples of the 2 realms try to participate. The more people, the greater the chance of seizing an opportunity, especially in the secret realm. There is also the inheritance of the Divine Palace. If you are lucky enough to get, it can be described as soaring to the top in 1 step. So that's what happened. I see. Dust. How can I go? Registration is simple. Just go to the registration office to register. Are you going? I have a system in hand. There's also the ability to shrink the earth to an inch to save one's life. Opportunities in the secret realm within my reach. Of course we should go. I plan to go and take a look. Then I'll accompany my master. My cultivation level is the 5th level of the profound core stage, although unable to sweep through the secret realm. But it can also protect its owner. I want to go too. A while ago, he also broke through the Zhuandan realm. I can protect you too. Good. Go. Go. Let's sign up. Walk. Zhenzhen, junior sister. Hello, senior brother Su. Junior sister Zhenzhen is here. This is for the exploration of the secret realm. Also interested. Yes. Bring 2 friends. Give it a try. Maybe. How many opportunities can be seized? These 2 are. This is Xiao Qingcheng, outer disciples, the tenfold Ling Tai. This is Han Mulan, outer sect elder, 5th level of Zhuandan. Qingcheng, this is senior brother Su, 7th level of the profound core. 7th level of the profound core. Cultivation level is higher than Han Mulan's. This outer sect elder is also high. Qingcheng. Hello, senior brother Su. The cutie with a spiritual platform at level 10. Why is it this again? A snobbish person. Zhenzhen, junior sister. Why did you bring it? Come on. Cuties at the 10th level of the spirit platform. Senior brother Su. Please be mindful of your words. Where did I say something wrong? The Guishu tomb is fraught with danger. Carrying such a burden. Why not come with me? I am at the 7th level of the profound core realm. I will definitely protect you. Certainly. If Elder Han is willing to come, I would be very happy to do so. No need. In my eyes, not even half as good as the master. Owner. What's it to you? We do not welcome you. Ma Liu Guanba. Don't delay our registration. That's right. Ungrateful.
Mu Zhenzhen. Han Mulan.
You'll regret it. Let's go. Sign up. Hello. We registered. So, even if we've registered, just wait 3 days later. The secret realm will be open soon. Host. An opportunity was detected. 10 directions spirit guiding pill. It can help the host condense the mystic core. Do you want to go and get it? Breakthrough to the profound core. Just in time. Zhenzhen, Mulan, I have something to take care of. You should make some preparations for departure first. See you later. Why? System. Are you sure it's this? It looks like a discarded pill. That's right. Host. This bottle of pills. It was indeed ruined by refining, but actually the stall owner himself. I don't know if it was accidentally refined inside. 110 directions spirit guiding pill. Host. Buy with confidence. Brother. How much are these pills? Senior brother Xiao. Elder Han. We've mentioned you to us before. It's just a bottle of waste pills. Senior brother. You can take it. That won't do. Take these spirit stones. Thank you, senior brother. You're welcome. This 10 directions spirit guiding pill. Its value is far more than just these few spirit stones. This is the 10 directions spirit guiding pill. That's right. Take this pill. Cooperate with the host. Take of the 10th level of the spirit platform realm. There is a high probability condensing the mysterious elixir. Breakthrough to the profound core realm. If we can break through this exploration of the secret realm and more confident, there should be no delay. I'll give it a try. Congratulations, host. Breakthrough to the profound core realm. Qingcheng. Zhenzhen. Mulan. Why are you here? How dare you say that? Almost there. The time to open the secret realm. Owner. You've broken through. Yes, it just broke through. I knew my master was exceptionally talented. Wow. Qingcheng, you're so amazing. I only summoned a spirit the first time I met you. Now I'm at the Zhuandan level 2. Of course. Otherwise, how can I protect you? I don't want to end up like Su Qianla said. It's a burden. You know how to talk. All right. Didn't we talk about time? Let's go. Don't delay. Is the vortex the same as the secret realm's human day? Our side, it was Elder Xuanzhen who led the team, the people brought by the demon wind sect. There are quite a few. Qingcheng. This is the demon wind gate this time. This time, the team leader, Elder Kongfeng. Beside him was his disciple Fuan. I heard he's already at the 8th level of the profound core stage. We must be careful once we go inside. Old ghost of the empty wind. The secret realm is about to open. Enough with the nonsense. Who will get the opportunity? Let the disciples. Let each rely on their own abilities. Just what I wanted. Children. After entering, take good care of yourself. Entertain them. Go. Let's go too. Owner. Stepping into the vortex will be randomized. Teleported to the secret realm. Make sure you hold my hand tightly to avoid scattering. Good. Qingcheng. You little rascal. They've made pretty fast progress. I wasn't wrong about it. After entering, take good care of Zhenzhen. Zhenzhen. Be safe. Safety first. Do what you can. I see. Elder, rest assured. Go. As expected of someone at the Divine Palace realm. The Tomb of the Mighty. It actually forms its own world. Host. Detected nearby organic matter. One poison frog. After its inner elixir is refined, not only can it improve cultivation level, it can also be used as a magic treasure, used to neutralize or store toxins. Does it guide? This place is truly full of opportunities. Jinjin Mulan, come with me. Ice poison frog. Its inner elixir. It's definitely a good thing. Ching Cheng, how did you find this place? Intuition. It's all intuition. All right, but it's not easy to make a move. The air around this pool is so cold. The flow of spiritual energy was sluggish. Really? This cold air is bad for us, but the ice poison frog, however, their strength can be greatly increased in the icy pool, although it is only at the second level of the profound core stage. But a direct attack is not advisable. Since that's the case, then bring it out. Hello, giant toad. Look this way. Ignore me. Ready to take action.
Hidden sword technique.
Chanching sword, erysipelas palm. Want to run. Owner, thanks to your strategy, it's that easy to win. Yes, it was solved very easily. Let's pack up quickly. Other uses for the ice poison frog. Let's strike while the iron is hot. Go find other opportunities. Ching Cheng, you're amazing. Opportunities can be found anywhere you go. But then, so many treasures were found. Good luck. It was getting late. Find a place to rest.
Mushime,
We met again. How well did you get with this? The little cutie of the spirit platform realm. Surely they didn't find anything? It's not too late to regret it now. Follow me. Guaranteed to bring you a lot of benefits. As for Elder Han, if you are willing to condescend, it's not impossible. As for this little cutie, even dying in this secret realm wouldn't be a loss.
Sutianle,
Are you blind? The three of us. It will definitely be more than what you gain alone. Quality over quantity. You can get so much. They're probably all spirit herbs. Such low-level stuff. This whole bag of mine, they were all top-grade spirit stones I finally got stolen from the monster's nest. Which ones are yours? Little K. Ari can't compare. Nine Youngress. Rejuvenating flesh pill. Channeling liquid. Pick one at random. It's not even as good as your broken high-grade spirit stone. How could this be? How did you get it? So many amazing opportunities. Owner, let's go. I can't stand stupid people. That is Ching Cheng. Let's go. Okay. How dare you humiliate me like this? Then don't blame me for being impolite. Host, how about resting here? The spiritual energy here is not only abundant. Cultivation can achieve twice the result with half the effort. Not bad. Thank you for your hard work, system. Jinjin Mulan. The spiritual energy here is abundant. Cultivation can achieve twice the result with half the effort. You guys try it. Let's take a good rest. Fiona had a long and arduous journey. You should relax. I have a set of massage techniques. It can relieve fatigue.
Han Mulan.
Well, you guys take the motorcycle first. I'll be right away. Owner, let me massage your shoulders. Dust, Ching Cheng. I'll answer for you. I'll press it for you. Wow. Jinjin. Mulan. Freshly cooked frog leg soup. Try it. Drink up. While you're away, I've already given you all a warning. Nice one. Ching Cheng. Owner. How does Hunling powder taste? I'm being nice to you, but you don't appreciate it. And he insisted on being with this little cutie. Chattering. But don't worry. I am magnanimous. Wait until I kill this little cutie. I will still take good care of you. What? You?
Sutianle.
One zone poison. How does it taste? How is that possible? The Hunling powder I administered was colorless and odorless. How did you find out? Fortunately, the system detected it. Or maybe I'll really get infected. Has senior brother Sue forgotten? This poison frog inner core. It can neutralize stored toxins. Your little bit of Hunling powder. It's not worth mentioning at all. Hunling powder. Even if it was taken at the peak of the profound core stage, the spiritual power will also be gradually dissipated.
Sutianle.
Fellow disciples killing each other. Using such despicable means. What a disgrace. How embarrassing. Master, I want to kill him. That's exactly what I was thinking too. Senior brother Sue, don't shout. This is just the beginning, Xiao Qingcheng. You just wait. Ran away. Qingcheng. It must have been a talisman used. At this moment, they've already been teleported a long way away. Only after going out, I'll settle the score with him again. After going out, I told Grandpa about it. Dare to make a move against us. I'm not done with him yet. This matter. Elder Xuanzhen should step in. All right. Get some rest. Wait a moment. What's wrong? Owner. I think I've been poisoned by Hunling powder.
Su Tian le poisonné.
Didn't I absorb them all with my inner core? Where did the poison come from? Help me detoxify. Untie. What a joke. Cultivation. Call. Yesterday's miscellaneous events. Many opportunities were gained. His cultivation level broke through to the 4th level of the profound core stage. Good harvest. Qingcheng. I have already break through to the 2nd level of the profound core realm. Owner. I've also broken through to the 6th level of the profound core realm. Not bad. Report. New opportunities detected. Quding Zhuansha grass. It is for refining the Kuzhuandan top grade materials. It is of great benefit to breaking through to the profound core realm. It's just 30 miles to the east. Shaki Mountain. Quding Zhuansha grass. Nice one. Zhenzhen. Ready to go. Such a heavy aura of evil. After a long time. It may damage the body. Protect your body with spiritual power. Let's go in. Quick victory.
Su Tian le.
I never expected you to help the Demon Windgate to deal with your own people in the Holy Land. Why not just join us? Holy Land disciples, switch to Demon Windgate. Spread it out. It must be very interesting. I will consider it. Keep up. Qingcheng. Found.
Su Tian le.
I originally wanted to come to this sacred land of Tai Xu. Kill a few cuties. Unexpected. Unexpected. There's still a chance to receive it. More than these little cuties. There are still many opportunities in hand. After the matter is completed, they are all yours. I only want them.
Su Tian le.
You actually. People from the Demon Wind sect colluded.
简直是师门耻辱. Su Tian le.
You actually. People from the Demon Wind sect colluded.
简直是师门耻辱.
If it weren't for you, my heart is with Xiao Qingcheng. He mocked me in every way. How did things come to this? What I want to say, it's all your fault. You.
Su Tian le.
Are you out of your mind? Previously came up just one little cutie. I was hoping you'd give me a nice look. Dream. What are you babbling about? Take action. Take them. There's plenty of time for you to chat. If using the unparalleled warrior delay, then use shrinking the earth to an inch. Run away with Zhenzhen and Mulan. Not bad. It's a pity about this withered and mysterious grass. Owner. Try your best to walk. We'll give you time. Qingcheng, you go first. We'll be there soon. Want to run. Dream. Get up. Zhenzhen, Mulan, how do you feel? Fine. I feel a little dizzy. 我也没事. Where is this? Xiao Qingcheng, what trick are you playing now? Are you out of your mind? If I did it, I'll just lock you up here and let you die. Why would I come down with you guys? You, court death. Why did Su Qianle go back by himself? Host. A super opportunity was detected. Divine Palace Inheritance. Divine Palace Inheritance. Trial of Inheritance begins. During the trial, private fights are prohibited. The Divine Palace Inheritance is actually here. If you can obtain the inheritance, the path to heaven is right beneath your feet. Qingcheng, we actually had a coincidence. The Divine Palace Inheritance has been found. I just don't know what are the contents of the inheritance trial. But it's definitely not simple. According to the instructions left by the God Lord, the competition will be divided into 2 teams. 3 trials in total. Best of 3 series. The winning team will receive the Divine Palace Inheritance. The first trial. Chess. Snort. My chess skills. He did have a certain degree of confidence. Case submitted. I'll play this round. This chess.
四世团旗.
Yet it doesn't seem like. And the words on it. I've never seen it before.
Su Tianle.
He couldn't even recognize the chess type. You claim to have superb chess skills. Will it break down? Then you'll be able to recognize it. If I don't recognize, no one present could recognize him. Hello. How to play without explaining the rules. The rules are written on the chessboard. Please understand on your own. Something that looks like scribbles. Who can tell? Gamoku. How come there are Chinese characters here? Qingcheng. I've never seen this writing before. Now they don't even know the rules. How do I download it? Fine. Leave it to me. Gamoku is something anyone can play.
Soutiens-les.
Dare to play a game of chess with me? If you dare not, just admit defeat. How can he be so confident? Does he know these words?
Impossible.
I can't even recognize the characters. How could he possibly know him? It must be a bluff. Trying to trick me into surrendering. What is there to be afraid of? Trial begins. Black goes first. Please. Whatever kind of chess it is, placing a piece in the middle of the board is never a mistake. Why did he fall so fast? What are you thinking? Can you hurry up? The daylilies I was waiting for had all gone cold. It's over. 5 planets in alignment. First test. White wins. 5 in a row. That means you've won. No. I didn't know the rules just now. Not count. I want to start over. You question the trial. I dare not. The owner is great. Little cutie. Lost the first game. The second trial. Prepare. Second test. Unraveling the chain. Each side sent one person. The first person to solve the 9-link puzzle wins. Nine linked rings. What is this thing? Isn't that? Are they educational toys for children? Ching chang. This thing. I have never seen. Do you have any clues? This thing isn't difficult. If only. Open it for me. How about it? Open. No. So strong. Rude. Rude. This is called proving the truth through force. Once I obtain the trial inheritance, I'll show you. What constitutes rudeness? Trial spirit. I guess I won this round. Valid. Begin the third trial. Xiao Qing Cheng. Did you see that? This is called strength. 1 win and 1 loss. The last game. Determining life and death. There's one last game. If the case is passed down, I'm sure I won't get the better of them. System. Any suggestions? No advice needed. The host just needs to wait. This trial, the host cannot possibly lose, because the third trial is the third trial. Q&A. Each person has only one chance to answer. The problem is, how are you? What kind of ancient saying is this? Unheard of. What kind of nonsense is this? No wonder the system said I wouldn't lose. Gamoku. 9 linked rings. In addition to English, we are from the same hometown. Ching Cheng. I've never heard this language before, and you only get one chance to answer. Better. Let the Demon Winsect group try it first. Don't worry. I can. Am fine, thank you, and you? Nonsense. Xiao Qing Cheng. You wouldn't think that just saying a few words would be enough. That should be enough to fool them. Correct answer. Trial ended. Begin to pass on. What? Qing Cheng. Owner. He actually took away the inheritance. No. Since this trial spirit exists, it will definitely be of great use. Since we can't get it,
那就毁了它。
who dares to move? Want to hurt the owner? You have to get past me first. I've waited for who knows how many years. Finally, people from my hometown came. Junior Xiao Qing Cheng. I've met the senior. Unexpected. You can even meet people from your hometown in this world. It's all fate. My Taoist dry machine, transcending this world for 1,200 years, he's managed to make a name for himself. Unfortunately, the Great Way is hard to find. He eventually reached the end of his life. Leave behind this little bit of family property. Looking forward to one day. Can we leave it to our own people? It's good that someone remembers me. This jade key is the core of the secret realm. After refining the entire Guishu Tomb secret realm, everything is under your control. The remaining array resources, other little gadgets, they're all yours then. Many thanks to my senior for your kind advice. Don't rush. Before giving you the item, I have another question. It can be considered. Is this a test from your fellow villager? Senior, please speak. If a carriage goes out of control, 5 people were tied up in front. A person was tied up on another side road. You hold the reins in your hand. Can change direction. What would you choose? Save 5. Sacrifice 1. Let nature take its course. Senior, I don't want to choose either of them. I want to become stronger. Strong enough to crash into a carriage. All 6 people were saved. If we are not able to do it right now, I will search desperately. The third option. Instead, easily deciding whose life or death. Ha ha ha. Good. Defying fate and changing one's destiny is the driving force behind cultivation. This secret realm, it's yours. Let me lend you a hand again. Let's go. May the senior rest in peace. 2 overconfident people. I still want to protect them. Then I'll kill you all first. Ching Cheng. What are you afraid of? This kid is just disappeared for a moment. It means accepting the inheritance. There wasn't even time to digest it. Our advantage lies with, take action now. Maybe we can even snatch the inheritance. All of you, come at me at once. Kill him. You'll definitely get your share of the benefits. 10th level of Zhuan Dan. How is that possible? Dryer veterans. Not only did they pass on the secret realm to me, they also used the secret realm to infuse spiritual power. It pushed me to the 10th level of the profound core realm. Is this the power of the 10th level of the profound core realm? I really don't know how to thank him. Father. Qingcheng brother, you are my father. I was wrong. I'm not human. Please spare my life. From now on, I'll be your slave. If you are not at ease, I can sign a slave contract with you. You really are flexible and adaptable. But I don't intend to let it go. Anyone. Secret realm. Lei Lei. Void thunder control. Owner. You have completely mastered the secret realm. That's right. Now in the secret realm, it's completely under my control. We should prepare to leave. Why did they all come out? Secret realm. It shouldn't be closing time yet. There's something wrong with the secret realm. Close early. Or has someone already inherited the mantle? The secret realm began to reject outsiders. It's finally out. Grandfather. Ouch. How did it get so badly injured? Fine. There was a slight conflict with the demon wind sect. However, Qingcheng had I recovered using elixirs. I'm doing very well now. That's good. Elder Mu. It's good that everyone is alright. The entrance is currently closed. There are still many disciples who haven't been seen. I'm afraid it is. Sai, I'll stop here for now. The secret realm closed early. The inheritance will most likely be taken by someone else. Do you have any clues? Elder Mu. In fact, inheritance. It's right in my hands. This is of great importance. Let's go back to the Holy Land first. The secret realm has been closed. Holy Land disciples gathered to return to their sect. Why did the old man Xuanzhen leave in such a hurry? Could it be that inheritance by their Holy Land taken? That's roughly what happened. Su Qianle, that little cutie, how dare they betray the Holy Land? United demonic cult, harming fellow disciples. He died without resentment. However, you can get past them. Seize the inheritance. Qingcheng, you've done a great job. It was just a coincidence. No need to be modest. Do you remember? What are the key points of cultivating the 5 realms? Remember, cultivation of the 5 realms. Breaking through the divine palace with the profound elixir is the most difficult. I don't know how many people stuck at the 10th level of the profound core stage. No progress allowed. That is the Holy Land. Now it's just the Holy Lord, the 2 divine palaces of the ancestor. 至于更高的天人境. It has not appeared for tens of thousands of years. That's right. But you're only 16 years old. After a trip to the secret realm, he was already at the 10th level of the profound core stage. He also possesses the inheritance of the divine palace. There is great hope for him to break through to the divine palace in the future. If you can break through, my Holy Land can then add another divine palace. So, someone wants to see you. Who wants to see me? Your disciple greets the Holy Lord. No need to be so nervous. Get up. Unexpected. Holy Lord, you actually came to see me in person. I am truly flattered. Qingcheng, you are a Holy Land now. The disciple with the best chance of breaking through to the divine palace. Holy Lord, see you. Don't be too surprised. Good. Divine palace and mystic elixir. They are worlds apart. If Qingcheng can break through the divine palace, my Holy Land. But it was a great blessing. Thanks to the Holy Lord's high expectations, the disciple will definitely work hard. Why? How can you expect yourself to work hard? Qingcheng, would you be willing to become my disciple? I wish you all the best in breaking through to the divine palace. Is there any room for me to refuse? The disciple is willing. Good. After. I will guide you in your cultivation. In addition, Xuanzhen, take the token. Take him to the treasure vault. Choose anyone. Consider it a gift for becoming an apprentice. Yes. Besides, if it is a matter of inheritance, once it gets out, Demon Windgate, we will definitely not sit idly by. This matter. Keep this confidential. Foreign. Qingcheng is still an ordinary outer disciples. Do you understand? Clear. Sect leader, this secret realm closed early. The casualties among our disciples were not serious, but your disciple, case submitted, disappeared. Explore the secret realm. There is inherent risk. So what if I die? More importantly, is there any news about the inheritance of the secret realm? Disciples, I have already checked it once. No line of inheritance. So what do you think? The inheritance fell to the sacred land of Tai Xu. What is the probability of having it in hand? The following are speculations. Possibility. Not small. It is also possible the inheritance never occurred. Secret realm closed. It was just an accident. Anyway, We must never let the Tai Xu Holy Land, another divine palace. Our moles in the Holy Land. It's time to move around. Yes, send a message. Let him check. If inheritance, it really fell into the hands of the Holy Land. Find a way to solve him. Snort. Ouch. Isn't this Elder Xuanzhen? It's been a while since I've seen you. It has indeed been a while since we last met. This is Xiao Qingcheng. In this exploration of the secret realm, he helped many fellow disciples. Holy Lord appreciation. Let me bring him to the treasure vault. Optional rewards. Qingcheng. This is Elder Pan Tu, in charge of logistics for the Holy Land.
Disciple pays respects to Elder Pan.
Good. It is indeed the Holy Lord's token. That's right. Go in. Go quickly. I'll wait for you outside. Report host. A large number of opportunities were detected. It truly lives up to its reputation as a treasure trove of Holy Land. Everywhere you look, there are treasures. Unfortunately, you can only choose one item to go out. Hey system, help me pick out the one that suits me best. No problem, host. Please follow me. That's interesting. What is the use of a system? Host, this is the Thunder Wing. After refining, it can transform into wings and fly, assist in battle. It can also unleash the power of lightning, help you refine your spiritual power, polishing the flesh, most suitable for the host to use.
全面增强自己了。
Okay, I'll choose this one.
Elder Mu, Elder Pan.
I've made my choice. Thunder Wing. It is indeed suitable. You used it to consolidate your cultivation.
Rencontring danger.
Flight function.
也能助你逃脱。
Good. Good. Then I'll register you. Thank you, Elder Pan. We are leaving now. Oops. Let's go. Let's go. Message report. Discovery of suspected succession targets. The Thunder Wings have finally been refined. My current spiritual power and physical body, after being tempered. Current strength, compared to when I first broke through, at least twice as high. Host. Good news. The secret realm inheritance of the Thousand Machine God. I have finished organizing. Now the host can access me to operate the entire secret realm. Operation Secret Realm. Let me explain in detail. I crack the access to the secret realm. Now the host can access me, controlling the secret realm. Generate pills. Planting medicinal herbs, raising demonic beasts to refine magical artifacts, just like playing a game. That's interesting. No. Where did these things come from? They are all dry machine gods. The remaining blueprints. I've compiled it. The senior is really wild. Play the whole hand. Is my junior disciple Qingcheng there? Elder Pan, please come in. Qingcheng disciple, did I disturb your cultivation? Elder Pan, you're too kind. I wonder what's going on. That's right. After you left, I suddenly remembered that Thunder Wing is an antique. Something seems wrong. I forgot to remind you when you registered. Question. When I refined, I didn't feel anything unusual. It's not a problem with refining. It's just when you activate it. Path of spiritual energy circulation. There might be some discrepancy. Not a big impact. But what about my junior apprentice? Long-term use is required in the future. It's better to resolve this. I see. Then thank you, Elder Pan. I don't know. What solutions does Elder Pan have? Simple. Come with me outside and try it out. Let me see where the problem is. If there really is a problem, I'll help you adjust things on the spot. If all else fails,
换一件也可以啊。
all right. Then I'll trouble Elder Pan. Small matter. Walk.
Elder Pan.
Just a trial of the magic weapon. There's no need to go this far. Thunderwing is a flying magic weapon. Open terrain required. Only then can we exert our full strength. This place has complex terrain. Just for testing. Reactions under various circumstances. Something's wrong with the system. Check the surroundings. Host detected around. Several spiritual energy fluctuations were lurking, at least at the profound core realm. Qingcheng disciple. Let me see the Thunder Wing.
Elder Pan.
Let's just look at it this way. Why don't you trust me? It's not that I don't trust you. I just feel that Elder Pan is like this. Isn't that a bit too attentive? I never expected you, kid. So vigilant. So be it. Since you have doubts, I'm not going to pretend anymore.
Pan tu.
You've been a spy for decades. Her acting skills are becoming more and more superb. Hiding in the Holy Land for decades, day to day, year after year. Finally, he took the position of logistics elder. Hidden trap. This sacred place, they're all traitors. Xiao Qingcheng, confess honestly, the legacy of the dry machine god. Is it in your hands? What inheritance? I have no idea. No need to say more. Knowing my identity, is the legacy in your hands? You all have to die. Stop him quickly. This kid has lightning wings. We absolutely cannot let him create distance. Don't worry. Lock mountain formation. It's this thing again. No. Even with the help of shrinking the Earth to an inch, able to temporarily maneuver, things will inevitably go wrong if this goes on for too long. This formation must be broken. Qingcheng disciple, give up resistance, surrender. We can still reserve a whole household for you.
留我全尸.
Elder Pan is truly kind. Moving mountain seal. Host, use this. This style. Try this. Get out of the way. What kind of magic weapon? This style. Absolutely. Dryer god. Xiao Qingcheng, you have indeed received the inheritance. Goodbye. Chase. We must not let him get away with this. They're really chasing me. Host. Go down. He actually jumped into the sealed spirit abyss. Should the elders go down to confirm? The spiritual energy within the sealed spirit abyss is completely gone. Countless monsters also roamed there. The person sealed the spirit abyss. Even a god couldn't save him. This is seeking death. Let's go. The Holy Land has the best chance. Breaking through the divine palace. Xiao Qingcheng also died. My and the alliance leader's heavy poison plan. It is also about to be completed. After. Nothing can stop us now. Heavy poisoning plan. You mean that one given to the high-ranking officials of the Holy Land? Plan to release chronic poison. That's right. I have been an undercover agent in the Holy Land for decades, using the identity of the logistics elder. That's how we got to where we are today. Holy Land. It's about to be destroyed. After. This is the world of our demon wind sect. Walk. Where is this? Why is my spiritual power sealed? Host, don't worry. This is Fengling Yuan. It originally had no spiritual power. This is an attempt to avoid. Pan Tu and his group chase them, but there is no spiritual power here. What should we do?
宿主别慌.
I offered to let you down. It's not just to help you. Avoid Pan Tu and the others. There might be a great opportunity here. If we can seize this opportunity, don't even mention getting out of here. That is, breaking through the Divine Palace. It's not impossible. What kind of opportunity? It can help me break through to the Divine Palace. Below. There is a real dragon. True dragon. System, you won't. Are you suggesting I make a move on it? I can't use spiritual power right now, relying solely on the physical body. What's the difference between this and sending someone to their death? Hey, rest assured, this true dragon is dead. However, the heart of the true dragon, it is not decayed even after 10,000 years. It is even constantly absorbing spiritual energy. Attempt to resurrect. No wonder there's no spiritual energy here. It turns out it was all because of its dragon heart. It was sucked away. That's right. Now dragon heart, it has absorbed 10,000 years of spiritual power, even the distance to successful resurrection. They are all just one step away. If the host can take this opportunity to sever the dragon's heart, bathing the body with essence and blood, then you can be reborn. Obtain the true dragon bloodline, forging the divine palace. How about it? Walking, walk. This is the dragon heart. That's right. As long as the outer wall of the dragon's heart is broken, the essence and blood will gush out. The host must be prepared. Don't waste it. Clear. Give me. Open. Host. Right now. Rapid circulation technique absorbs essence and blood. Host. Hold on. Reborn with dragon blood. Pain is normal. No big problem. This is the power of the divine palace realm. Congratulations, host, breaking through the divine boundary. It's time. It's time to go back.
Pan
You're actually a spy for the demon wind sect. You didn't expect that, did you? My decades of infiltration of the Holy Land were not in vain. Day to day, year after year, in your diet and elixirs, chronic toxins in humans, the poison has now penetrated deep into your bones. Let's see how long you can hold out.
Pan
Well done. After the Holy Land is destroyed, add it to your possession. You will be the new master of the Holy Land. Master Z. Wishful thinking. Fang Eluan, your Holy Land ancestor. My sex patriarch has already held me back. You and me, their cultivation levels are evenly matched. You are suffering from a severe poison. Where? My opponent. Demon. Stop being so arrogant. What about us? You. Ha 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 ha. And you. Let me think. You are that one, Xiao Qingqing's lover.
Pan
Tell her the good news right away. Yes. You guys don't know yet, do you? Your Holy Land has the best hope. The genius who broke through, Xiao Qingqing, already dead. The one I killed. What did you say? You. Damn it. Overestimating one's abilities. Zhenzhen. Enough of watching the show. Today, let the Tai Xu Holy Land become history. Let's end it here. Zhenzhen, Mulan, I'm back. Qingqing. You're right, 你没事. Owner. Qingqing. You have been missing for several days. I thought you had met with bad luck, the poisonous hand of the demon wind sect. Thank goodness you're all right. And judging from your aura, they have actually broken through the divine palace. Good. My Holy Land is saved. Xiao Qingqing. How could you? Emerging from the sealed spirit abyss. And he also broke through to the divine palace realm. Thanks to you, I received a stroke of good fortune in the sealed spirit abyss. Not only did it break through the divine palace, it also forged the body of a true dragon.
Pan
Your scheme. It's going to be a disappointment.
Pan
You little cutie.
Brat.
What are you so proud of? So what if it's a true dragon's body entering the divine palace mirror? They dare to utter such arrogant words. This seat. He has been in the divine palace for over 100 years. Kill you. Like slaughtering chickens and dogs. Then give it a try. Court death. Master Yuan, is that all the strength you've got? I had a backup plan just now. Again. Snort. Then I'll make you give up completely. Demonic wind myriad phenomena technique. True dragon breaks the sky. How is that possible? Sect master defeated. Escape. Run away. Did you leave? It's all right, Meishula. It's all over. Qingqing. Summon the entire clan. These are two major events. Firstly, the threat of the demon windgate has been eliminated. The sect will be forever secure. This is Xiao Qingqing alone. Turning the tide. Save my Holy Land at the moment of destruction. Senior Brother Xiao. Senior Brother Xiao. Qingqing, you are exceptionally talented, determined, more righteous. Stepping forward in times of crisis. Slay the demon chief. Save fellow disciples. Protector of the way. Such achievements. Holy Land. Unprecedented in 1,000 years. Holy Lord is too kind. Qingqing. I just did what I was supposed to do. No need to be modest. I was ambushed this time. Deeply poisoned. He needs to remain in seclusion for a long time to heal his wounds. The Holy Land cannot be without a master for even a day. The throne of the Holy Lord. I will pass it on to you today. May you guide the Holy Land. Protect my disciple. Qingqing will not fail the Holy Lord. Entrusted by my fellow disciples. Do your best. Protect the Holy Land.
Guangda sect.
Xiaoyang, run slowly. Be careful not to fall. Qingqing, let's take a break. I only read 2 pages of the book. Not tiring. What's there to rest about? What are you saying? Father. Storytelling. What kind of story would you like to hear? I want to hear stories about fighting bad guys. Stories of bad guys. Good. Father said. In the past, there was a boy. He started as a menial disciple. It has been a holy site for many years. This level of cultivation, not an inch forward. The steward then said to him, if this exam, still the last one, they then banished the boy from the Holy Land.